drafted the most valuable asset in women's sports, the biggest asset in women's sports. The idea that they did not have somebody in this position it's asinine, it's ridiculous, it's insulting to the fan base. It shows a lack of professionalism by what's supposed to be a professional basketball team, an organization. It's shocking to me. It is shocking. But the Indiana Fever have made a job post.
The job posting dropped. Not for a new star player, but for a basic role, the Indiana Fever astonishingly lacked a senior director of player health and performance. This wasn't a proactive move. It was an embarrassing reactive scramble after a season where their biggest asset, Caitlin Clark, was sidelined by injuries. It's an insult to the fan base, a testament to organizational negligence, and a shocking revelation that begs the question, how is this not already in place for the most valuable commodity in women's sports? The league's professionalism is being questioned, and the silence from the top is deafening. This revelation has sent shockwaves, exposing a fundamental flaw that directly impacted the league's brightest star.
26 WNBA season. This is great news. Cannot wait to see her back on the floor. Now, there's also a lot of us Caitlin Clark fans who are triggered by the statements that Stephanie White made on the Fever Insider podcast, where she said that the team is building around Kelsey Mitchell, and we feel like Caitlin Clark needs to demand a trade. You know, like it's a lot. It's a lot. Caitlin Clark needs to get out of there. We're going to get into this footage of Caitlin Clark back working out, back training. This is great. We got a lot more to get into. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification.
This isn't just a simple new hire, it's a desperate attempt to patch a gaping hole that contributed directly to the team becoming a MASH unit last season. How could a professional sports organization, especially one now home to such a monumental talent, operate without a dedicated senior health director? It's not just poor planning, it's an organizational malpractice that reveals a fundamental lack of seriousness. The fact this position is being filled after the damage is done feels less like progress and more like a forced admission of catastrophic failure. The consequences were clear on the court, impacting not just wins and losses, but player careers.
It is shocking. But the Indiana Fever have made a job posting. And Lord knows it's a job that they absolutely need somebody in this job. My issue is, how the hell did you not already have somebody doing this? And why didn't you bring somebody on during the season? The whole team turned into a MASH unit. It's crazy. It is crazy.
The Indiana Fever waited until after an injury-plagued season, after Caitlin Clark suffered multiple serious setbacks, to even consider hiring a full-time senior director of player health and performance. This organizational malpractice meant Clark, the undisputed biggest asset in women's sports, endured quad, groin, and ankle injuries that ended her season prematurely. Was she forced to pay for her own treatment? The question alone exposes a shocking level of negligence. It's an insult to the fan base, a testament to a blatant lack of professionalism, and a revelation that has fans furious and demanding answers from an organization seemingly oblivious to its responsibilities. This oversight raises critical questions about player welfare.
Otis back in the gym. Now, my thing is, Stephanie White has some very disturbing things to say. We all know Stephanie White's a bonehead, and for whatever reason, she in the Fever organization or whoever feels like they should be building the team around Kelsey Mitchell. We've heard plenty of times, Kelsey Mitchell, she's our number one priority last year. She'll be our number one priority this year. So being that, Kelsey.
The devastation of Clark's 2025 sophomore WNBA campaign was truly shocking. She battled through 2 relatively minor quad injuries early on, sidelining her for weeks, then a minor groin issue, keeping her out again. The real blow came on July 15th with a more serious groin injury. As if that wasn't enough, while rehabbing, Clark sprained her ankle before an August 7th game. This final injury pushed her return timeline back so far that the team decided she lacked sufficient time to properly recover, tragically ending her season. The sheer accumulation of these setbacks for their star player should have triggered alarms much earlier, yet silence reigned from the front office regarding preventative measures or adequate staffing.
During the season, the whole team turned into a MASH unit. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's no secret the Indiana Fever were dealt a brutal hand when it came to injuries they dealt with during the 2025 WNBA regular season. The most notable of these is regarding star Caitlin Clark, who experienced several soft tissue injuries during her sophomore WNBA campaign. She suffered 2 relatively minor quad injuries that kept her sidelined for a couple of weeks early in the season.
But Clark was far from the only victim of the Fever's apparent healthcare vacuum. The entire squad became a MASH unit by season's end, a disturbing pattern for any professional team. Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, Eric McDonald, and Chloe Bibby all suffered season-ending injuries in the final 2 months alone. Demarius Dantes mysteriously missed playoffs due to a concussion, the origin of which remains completely unknown, raising further concerns about player safety and transparent reporting. Even Kelsey Mitchell suffered a freak leg injury in their final playoff game. This catastrophic injury list screams for immediate, drastic action, yet the response was agonizingly slow and reactive, rather than proactive, creating a culture of constant injury management.
Work. This is not gonna work. You know what I mean? This is the quote. This is the quote from Stephanie White. I want to continue to build around her. She is absolutely the number one priority. Now, she said she was the number one priority last year. She'll be the number one priority this year. So, being that Kelsey Mitchell is your number one priority, I think Caitlin Clark should demand a trade. I think she should demand a trade. I don't trust you. I don't trust Amber Cox. I don't trust Kelly Crosskopf. I don't trust none of y'all. I don't trust none of y'all.
Amidst this injury chaos, the Indiana Fever finally posted a job listing for a senior director of player health and performance. While absolutely needed, this belated action is a profound embarrassment. The very existence of this new role, created asterisk after asterisk, a season plagued by injuries, exposes a catastrophic oversight by team leadership. It signifies that a fundamental aspect of player care and organizational structure was missing entirely. This belated scramble to fill a critical position only amplifies the perception of a dysfunctional front office that waited until disaster struck to address a glaring deficiency, fueling public outrage.
Minor quad injuries that kept her sidelined for a couple of weeks early in the season, then a minor groin injury that kept her out for another couple of weeks, then suffered a more serious groin injury on July 15th. Let's not forget about the ankle. Oh, here we go. But that's not all. Clark sprained her ankle while rehabbing before an August 7 game, which delayed her return timeline to the point where the Fever felt like she didn't have enough time to properly recover and return to the court, thus ending her season. Clark was far from the only Fever.
This isn't just a minor administrative oversight, it's organizational professional sports malpractice. The question that continues to echo is, why wasn't someone already in this position? This role should have been a cornerstone of the Fever's operations from the beginning, certainly by the time they drafted the most valuable asset in women's sports. The fact that it took a season-ending injury crisis to prompt this hire is not only unprofessional, but deeply insulting to the athletes and the dedicated fan base who invest their loyalty in the team. It reflects a severe lack of seriousness and commitment to player well-being, raising trust issues.
Clark should demand a trade. I think she should demand a trade. I don't trust you. I don't trust Amber Cox. I don't trust Kelly Crosskopf. I don't trust none of y'all. I don't trust none of y'all. I don't even want her working out at the damn facility over there. I'm hearing that the owner's son is not feeling y'all. If that's the case, you need to step in. You need to step in. Do y'all want Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White, or do y'all want Caitlin Clark? Let's get something clear here. Let's get things clear all the way around the board. How about that? How about that? Let's get this thing clear all the way.
The job description itself is astounding in its scope, outlining responsibilities that were clearly neglected. The senior director would oversee all health, medical, and athletic performance departments, including professional athletic training, physical therapy, sports performance coaches, massage therapists, nutritionists, chiropractors, and even interns. They are responsible for initial examinations, diagnosis, evaluations, treatments, monitoring, and prevention of injuries. Reading this detailed list, one can only wonder who was doing any asterisk of this before. The implication that players might have been left to fend for themselves or rely on inadequate support is truly alarming.
The later return timeline to the point where the Fever felt like she didn't have enough time to properly recover and return to the court, thus ending her season. Clark was far from the only Fever player that got hurt, as 4 other players, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, Ari McDonald, and Chloe Bibby, all suffered season-ending injuries in the final 2 or so months of the season. Demarius Dantes missed the playoffs because of concussion. It's still unclear where that concussion came from. The phantom concussion, I still never saw.
This gross oversight falls squarely on the shoulders of leadership, specifically Stephanie White and Amber Cox. Why did they not demand this crucial position or recognize the undeniable need for it? The lack of urgency, stretching back to last year, is baffling. It suggests a fundamental misunderstanding of what it takes to run a professional sports organization, especially one entrusted with a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. Their failure to establish basic player health infrastructure has created a crisis of confidence, leading many to question their competence and dedication to winning and player safety. It's a leadership vacuum.
How about that? Let's get this thing clear all the way around the board. Caitlin Clark is the reason people was even tuning into Indiana Fever games. Y'all lost 55% of the audience once she wasn't playing. Y'all had to lie. Y'all lied about the injury. Y'all strung people along. Y'all wouldn't let her come back. Strung people along for an entire damn near season. Y'all waited until 2 days before the last game of the season to say she wasn't coming back. Why? Because y'all was trying to keep her fans in tune. Y'all was trying to keep hope so that, hey, I'm going to buy it.
The broader implications extend beyond the Fever, casting a shadow over the entire WNBA. The league often gives off a minor league baseball vibe, a AA team playing on local television, with production quality lagging behind even high school football broadcasts. This scandal only reinforces that perception. For a professional league, especially one now boasting the most valuable commodity in women's sports, to operate without such fundamental player health positions until an injury crisis hits reveals a stark lack of investment and infrastructure. It's a gargantuan embarrassment for the entire enterprise, threatening its hard-earned growth.
Director job listing after injury-plagued WNBA season. Here's the job listing. I gotta tell you, it's absolutely needed, but it's also really embarrassing. Indiana Fever Senior Director of Player Health and Performance. Why the hell wasn't somebody already in this position? That's organizational, professional sports malpractice. Frankly, it shows a lack of seriousness. And I would have...
As if the health director fiasco wasn't enough, Stephanie White, the Fever's coach, compounded the outrage with her recent statements. On the Fever Insider podcast, she declared that the team is building around Kelsey Mitchell and that Mitchell is absolutely the #1 priority, echoing a similar sentiment from last year. This boneheaded comment, made after Clark's injury-plagued season and her undeniable star power, struck a nerve with fans. It highlights a baffling disconnect between the coaching staff's stated priorities and the overwhelming reality of who truly drives fan engagement and future success, creating a deep rift.
Wouldn't let her come back. Strung people along for an entire damn near season. Y'all waited until 2 days before the last game of the season to say she wasn't coming back. Why? Because y'all was trying to keep her fans in tune. Y'all was trying to keep hope so that, hey, I'm going to buy a ticket for down the line and hopefully she'll be playing. Or I'm going to watch today. Maybe she'll get announced that she's playing. Like, y'all used her and strung her fan base along, but y'all want to build around Kelsey Mitchell. Why don't y'all just use Kelsey Mitchell's fan base? She got a lot of publicity from being next to Caitlin Clark, and she's a hell of a player. Not taking that away.
This declaration ignited an inferno among Caitlin Clark's loyal fan base. The immediate, widespread reaction? Caitlin Clark needs to demand a trade. Fans are fed up with what they perceive as disrespect and misdirection from the Fever organization. They see White's statement as a clear signal that the team's vision does not fully encompass Clark's transformative potential. This emotional plea for Clark to leave underscores the profound lack of trust the fan base now has in the current leadership, believing that her talent and unparalleled impact are being squandered and undervalued by those in charge.
But not limited to initial examinations, diagnosis, evaluations, treatments, monitoring, and prevention of injuries. Okay, well, who was doing all of that? How did they, did Caitlin Clark have to literally pay for all of that on her own? Is that what happened? Did these players have to go seek other attention from somebody besides the team? Responsible for identifying an individual clinical treatment and rehabilitation strategies, goals, prognosis, timelines based on the best clinical evidence. Jesus. The more...
Adding fuel to the fire are accusations that the Fever actively lied about the injury and strung people along regarding Clark's return. It's alleged they deliberately delayed announcing her season-ending status until 2 days before the last game, primarily to keep fans hopeful, tuning in and buying tickets. This deceptive strategy, if true, constitutes a cynical manipulation of her dedicated fan base, exploiting their loyalty for short-term gains. Such actions are not only unethical, but demonstrate a profound disregard for transparency and integrity, eroding any remaining trust in the team's communication and intentions.
A hell of a player. There's a lot of a hell of a players in the league that nobody cares about. And what nobody checking for Kelsey Mitchell prior to Caitlin Clark standing next to her. That's just the facts. That's just a fact, bro. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it real around here. What nobody checking for Kelsey Mitchell prior to her standing next to Caitlin Clark. Just like what nobody checking for 90% of these people that's next to her right now. Come on now. So take Kelsey Mitchell, take her fan base, and go build around her. You could do the Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston 1-2 punch. We take our talents elsewhere. That's how I'm feeling about it.
The numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark is the unequivocal reason people tuned into Indiana Fever games. The viewing audience plummeted by a staggering 55% once she was sidelined, a direct and undeniable testament to her unparalleled draw. This statistic alone should force the organization to reassess every single strategic decision. Yet amidst this glaring evidence, the coach continues to publicly state that another player is the #1 priority. This willful ignorance of market realities and fan engagement is not just baffling, it's a colossal misjudgment of their most valuable asset's power.
This professional league should not have existed. This just goes to tell you, we're just going out there and I keep telling you guys, some of these broadcasts, when you watch them, they feel very minor league baseball-y. They feel like you're watching a AA team, local team on local television, and that's the look and the feel of the broadcast, and you're like, ugh. It's like literally, a lesser division of NC2A.
The notion of building around Kelsey Mitchell, while she is undoubtedly a talented player, completely overlooks the commercial and cultural impact of Caitlin Clark. Let's be frank, prior to Clark standing next to her, nobody was checking for Kelsey Mitchell in the same way. Her increased publicity and visibility are a direct consequence of Clark's presence. To declare her the #1 priority is not just misguided, it's an outright insult to Clark's transformative influence and the legion of new fans she brought to the sport. This short-sightedness risks alienating the very audience that has breathed new life into the league.
Stands and appreciates the value that Caitlin Clark brings. And it's like the only people that don't understand is the WNBA and everyone involved with the Indiana Fever. That's what's crazy to me. It's like golf understands the Caitlin Clark effect and respect it and cherish it and value it. The NFL even understand The NBA understand. Every major league understands except the league she is a part of. It is crazy. It is crazy, man.
The irony is not lost on anyone following women's sports. While the Indiana Fever and parts of the WNBA organization seemingly fail to grasp Caitlin Clark's immense value, every other major league and company worldwide understands and cherishes it. Golf sees her potential for the Annika Game Bridge event. The NFL and NBA acknowledge her broad appeal. It's truly crazy that the very league she is a part of, the very team she plays for, appears to be the only entity that doesn't fully respect, cherish, and strategically leverage the Caitlin Clark effect. This disparity is glaring and deeply concerning for her future. Recent footage of Caitlin Clark back in the gym, intensely working out, rehabbing her ankles and groin, is a powerful reminder of her dedication and resilience. It underscores the immense pressure she faces to return healthy and dominate, especially after a season riddled with injuries that might have been prevented with proper support. This personal commitment to her craft stands in stark contrast to the organizational failures that likely contributed to her setbacks. Her unwavering drive, even in the face of such adversity, makes the Fever's apparent lack of care even more infuriating for her legions of supporters worldwide. The collective frustration boils over. Many feel that Caitlin Clark needs to get her agent involved immediately and initiate a trade. The lack of trust in Amber Cox, Kelly Cross, and particularly Stephanie White has reached a breaking point. The whisper that even the owner's son isn't happy with the current management adds another layer of organizational turmoil. The fans' ultimatum is clear. Do you want Kelsey Mitchell and Stephanie White, or do you want Caitlin Clark? The organization must choose, because the current path is unsustainable and actively jeopardizes the most electrifying player in the game. This entire saga represents a gargantuan embarrassment for both the Indiana Fever and the WNBA at large. To possess the most valuable commodity in women's sports and then fail so spectacularly in basic player health infrastructure, while simultaneously alienating her fan base with tone-deaf coaching priorities, is inexcusable. It paints a picture of a league and a team struggling with professionalism, ambition, and basic competence. The leadership, from the front office to the coaching staff, has worn metaphorical clown hair and big shoes, pulling up in a tiny car, symbolizing a profound organizational failure that demands accountability. The situation is beyond a public relations nightmare. It's a fundamental crisis of trust and competence. The league's growth, largely fueled by Clark's unprecedented impact, is being undermined by the very team meant to champion her. If the Fever continues down this path of organizational negligence and misdirected priorities, they risk not only losing Caitlin Clark, but alienating an entire generation of new fans. The time for change is now, not later. The future of the Fever, and arguably the WNBA, depends on recognizing and rectifying these shocking failures immediately.